Today, let's dive into a powerful parable about magic, betrayal, and, well, power itself. We're talking about Shakespeare's masterpiece, The Tempest. So, let me ask you this, because this is really the heart of the whole story. It's all about vengeance versus virtue. And it's a choice that one man, after 12 long years of just waiting, finally gets to make. All right, let's get right into it. This whole story kicks off not with someone gaining power, but with someone losing it. It all starts with a really deep, personal injustice. And that man was Prospero, the true Duke of Milan. Now, Prospero was a real bookworm, so wrapped up in his studies that he handed over the day-to-day running of the city to his own brother, Antonio. Big mistake. Antonio, see, he got a taste of power and wanted it all. So he teamed up with the King of Naples, betrayed his own brother, and had him and his little daughter cast out to sea. So you can see his journey laid out here. It starts with that betrayal back in Milan. Then he's exiled, adrift at sea with his daughter, Miranda. They wash up on this remote island where they're stuck in total isolation for 12 long years. And all of that, it all leads up to today, the day of the storm. And this is his first real move, his first act of power. See, during all those years in exile, he's been studying magic, and now he summons this absolutely massive storm, a tempest. But this isn't random. Oh no, it's a precision strike designed to do one thing: shipwreck the exact boat carrying all his old enemies right onto his island. So you gotta understand, this storm, it's not just weather, it's way more than wind and rain. Think of it as a symbol. It's the physical embodiment of the world being thrown completely out of whack by his brother's betrayal. The natural order was broken, and this storm, well, this is Prospero's way of trying to force it all back into balance. And this really shows you the change in the man himself. The guy on the left, that's the old Prospero, the Duke of Milan. Kind of naive, always had his nose in a book, totally oblivious to politics. He's gone. The man on the right, that's who he is now. An island sorcerer. He's been hardened by 12 years of survival. He wields incredible power, and he is laser-focused on one thing: his plan. So, let's go to the island itself, because this is where everything happens. You have to picture it not just as some deserted island. For Prospero, it's his own personal stage. It's a laboratory. You know, it's like a magical chessboard, and he's about to make his first move. I mean, from the second that ship hits the rocks, absolutely everything that happens is because he wants it to happen. He's pulling all the strings. Using the magic he learned from his books, he's controlling the weather, he's controlling the survivors, he is literally directing this entire story. And on this island, he's set up a very clear pecking order. You've got Prospero at the very top, the master of everything. Then there's his innocent daughter, Miranda, and under them, his two, let's call them servants. There's Ariel, a magical spirit who's working for Prospero to earn his freedom. And then there's Caliban, the son of a witch who is here first and who is now basically a very, very angry slave. And these two couldn't be more different. Ariel is like pure air and spirit. Prospero actually saved him, freed him from a curse. So Ariel serves him out of a sense of debt. But Caliban is of the earth. He's native to this island. And from his point of view, Prospero is just an invader who showed up and stole his home. So Ariel's service is a deal, but Caliban's is forced. And you can bet he is furious about it. And this whole dynamic really gets you thinking about one of the biggest questions in the story. Is Caliban just naturally a monster? Or did he become this way because his home was taken and he was enslaved? You know, that classic debate, nature versus nurture. Are we born a certain way, or does the world make us who we are? It's a huge theme here, and it's one that, frankly, still feels very relevant today. Okay, so all the pieces are on the board. Now it's time for Prospero to start the game. The survivors from the shipwreck, they have no idea they're just pawns in a much bigger plan, and their actions are about to show us what people are really like when things get tough. So on Prospero's command, Ariel zips around the island and magically splits everyone up into small groups. They're all alone, they all think the king is dead, and now that the pressure is on, we're about to see their true colors: the good, the bad, and the ugly. First up, we have a little romance plot. Ariel leads Prince Ferdinand right to Miranda.
Now, you have to remember, Miranda has never seen any man before except her own dad. So when she sees Ferdinand, she's completely starstruck. And of course, this isn't an accident. It's all part of Prospero's master plan to get his daughter married into royalty and build a powerful alliance.
At the very same time, something much darker is going down. Remember Prospero's treacherous brother, Antonio? Well, he hasn't changed a bit. He starts whispering in the ear of the king's brother, Sebastian, trying to convince him to kill the king and take the crown for himself. It's like history is repeating itself. It just goes to show you, for some people, greed and ambition are all that matter. So you have these two things happening at once, and it's a perfect contrast. On the one hand, you've got this beautiful new love, full of hope for the future. And on the other hand, you've got the same old story of greed and betrayal, just dragging the past right along with it. It's like the best and worst of humanity right there on one island. But in the middle of all this scheming, there's this one guy, Gonzalo, who's dreaming of something totally different. He's this wise, old, good-hearted counselor, and he starts imagining what the island could be, a kind of utopia, a perfect world with no kings, no poverty, no fighting, basically a paradise. It's a beautiful idea, right? But that dream gets immediately shattered by a third plot line, which is, honestly, kind of ridiculous. Caliban bumps into two of the king's servants, a butler and a jester, and they're both completely drunk. Caliban has never had wine before, thinks they must be gods, and immediately swears to serve them if they'll help him murder Prospero. So there you have it, another stark contrast. You've got Gonzalo's high-minded vision for a perfect equal society, and then you have Caliban's plot, which is just pure resentment, chaos, and violence. It proves that even when you're stranded on a supposedly deserted island, you can't escape the best and the worst of human nature. So you've got love, you've got murder, you've got this drunken conspiracy, and Prospero is pulling the strings on all of them. Everything has been leading up to this. His grand plan is finally coming to a head. This is the climax. The moment of reckoning is here. And now, Prospero really lets his power loose. He starts playing with their minds. He conjures up this amazing feast for the nobles, who are starving, and just as they reach for it, poof, it vanishes. He's putting on these magical shows, these spectacles, all designed to do one thing: wear them down and make them face what they did. And then comes the big moment. Ariel appears, but this time as a harpy, one of those terrifying bird woman monsters from mythology. And he doesn't just scare them. He looks them right in the eye and calls them out for their crime against Prospero and his daughter 12 years ago. He tells them that nature itself is now demanding justice. And just like that, the plan works. It works perfectly. The bad guys are trapped, they're terrified, and they are drowning in their own guilt. Prospero has won. He has achieved everything he set out to do. They are completely 100% at his mercy. And that brings us right back to where we started, to that one big question. After 12 years of dreaming about this moment, after all that planning, what's he going to do? Will he take his revenge? I mean, who could blame him if he did? Or will he choose another path? This is the turning point of the entire story. And surprisingly, it's Ariel who flips the switch. The spirit tells Prospero that if he were human, he'd feel sorry for these guys. And hearing that from a being that isn't even human, it makes Prospero pause. He has a moment of self-reflection and realizes that true strength isn't in revenge, but in forgiveness. He chooses mercy. And that one choice, it changes everything. It's the key that unlocks the whole rest of the story. It's the beginning of the end, the start of everything being put back together. Remember how we said the storm represented the world thrown out of balance? Well, this act of forgiveness, this is what finally sets it right again. It turns out the solution wasn't more power or more magic. The thing that restores order to the world is simple human mercy. And he doesn't just say it, he does it. He takes very clear steps. First, he steps out and reveals who he is, and you can imagine their shock. Then, he offers them all a pardon, especially the king, who is truly sorry for what he did. And in return, they agree to restore his title. Just like that, his dukedom is his again. The political world is healed. But to get back to that human world, there's a price, a big one. He has to give something up. He has to leave the magic behind. So he makes a vow.
He's going to break his magic staff and throw his book of spells deep into the ocean. He is literally giving up the source of all his power. And right there, that's the moral of the whole story. The biggest, most powerful thing Prospero does in the entire play isn't conjuring a storm. It's not controlling spirits. His greatest act of power was choosing to give up that power, to forgive and just be human again, to be a duke and a father. You know, a lot of people think that when Prospero gives up his magic, it's really Shakespeare saying goodbye to his own magic, the magic of the stage. He was at the end of his career, and in the play's final speech, Prospero asked the audience to set him free with their applause. Maybe that was Shakespeare himself asking the same thing. It's a pretty cool thought to end on, right? The idea that art itself is a kind of magic we all get to share.